Hello everybody, this is the King Bay, your book granny here with the book review for you. Oh yeah, today I'm reviewing Nettle Bone by T. Kingfisher. I purchased my copy from Broken Binding, and at the time of recording, it was no longer available on their site, but you know, you can get it used somewhere, probably McCarty or somewhere like that, if you want this edition. This, as always, is a no spoiler zone. I don't do any spoilers here. First off, I would say the genre for this is like a cozy fantasy with dark elements in it. And I'm new to cozy fantasy, so I don't know if this was really qualified as one, but I'm calling it cozy fantasy because it doesn't have super high stakes. And it leaves you with this warm, tingly feeling, as they say. But it does have some dark elements in it. For example, there's this goblin market and all kind of stuff going on in there that's pretty, rough. But they don't show you that roughness. They just let you know that's what's going on. And like, for instance, there's this character in there. She runs a hotel. And she has, well, hotel, I guess it's a bed and breakfast actually. And it has this puppet on her shoulder, and a puppet has this thing around her neck, and it's like basically controlling her. So it does have some dark elements, like I say, but it's not so dark. I don't like horror, and it did not feel like horror, okay? So it's really, really light, dark elements. Light, dark elements. That doesn't even sound right, but you know what I mean, right? Technology wise, I would say it would be like comparable to our medieval times. For the plot, we have Mara. Mara is a princess. She's actually the third child, the third daughter. So she's not considered important at all. You know, it is what it is, right? And she doesn't like being a princess anyway. She hates being a princess. She doesn't like being in the royal family. It sucks. It really sucks. So she's sent away to live in this convent. Now, while she's in the convent, she actually loves this life because she feels like she's more free there to be herself. She learns how to do her needlework, and she actually, because she's a princess, they don't want her doing any real work. But nope, she wants to work. She goes out there and cleans them stalls like everybody else. I mean, she enjoys being free, if that makes sense. Free from the castle. Well, in the meantime, in between time, her sisters are being married off, right? And they get married off. Well, first one gets married off to this prince, and she dies under suspicious, circumstances. And then the second one is married off to this prince, and she finds out this sister's being abused. And then the things that happen to her first sister, they're like, this ain't quite adding up. So she finds out her sister's being abused, and nobody's doing everything. To keep the peace, nobody's doing anything. And she don't like this. Of course she doesn't like this. This is her sister, right? So she's like, okay, no one's going to do anything, so I'm going to have to do it. Now, Mara's personality, she's a real timid, shy person. She's not the most confident person either, we'll say. But she doesn't, even though she is timid and not really confident, she doesn't let that stop her from doing things. So she goes out, she sets out to figure out, what do I need to do in order to stop this man from beating my sister, because she's going to die. Eventually she will die. So she goes to this witch, it's called a dust wife, and she talks to the dead and has her magic abilities from the dead, stuff like that. And she's really good at what she does. She says, hey, if you do these 3 things, she says on this quest, I will help you out. So Mara, she's like, I don't know if I can do it, but she goes ahead and tries to do the things. And she does these impossible things. And the witch is like, okay, I said I'd help you, so I'm going to help you out. So they set out to go do whatever they need to do in order to get rid of this prince. Well, in the meantime, in between time, they need some assistance. So this book is actually also a found family and a quest book. Found family in it, you get this dog. He's called Bone Dog. And he's actually made from old bones. You know what I'm saying? Dog bones, but still old bones. And then we have this hen. That's the witch's hen that's possessed by a demon. And I like the hen. It's just funny. I'm like, y'all gotta possess a hen. Okay, that was a whole story in itself. Okay, and then you have this tarnished knight. Now he is tarnished, but I like the way that the author, instead of, a lot of times when they have, that's trope, having the tarnished knight. But he actually was the most charismatic character. He was able to negotiate, and I mean, he was just wheeling and dealing. I really liked this knight. He wasn't all that mean old gruff, just sit there, don't want to talk to nobody. He'll go beat somebody down and go sit back down. No, he was not that character. Okay, I like that a lot. And then we had, of course, the witch, which I already told you about. And then we had this fairy godmother that should have chose a different profession, because she is not a good fairy godmother, but she's a fairy godmother. So along the way, they pick all these things up, and they have to work together in order to, kill a prince. And it was a good journey. That was a good journey. As you see, this is a novella, and I made it a point to start reading shorter books also, because I saw in my videos that I was like, oh, I'm dogging out a shorter book. So I'm like, no, let me read more of these to see, maybe the ones I had read before just sucked. Okay. So anyway, but this one did not. This was a good one. And the reason I had not read them, because I thought I would not be fulfilled. And this was a fulfilling story. It's short, it's quick, it's a good palate cleanser. I mean, this was good. I mean, like I said, it had dark elements, it had comical elements, it had silliness, it had seriousness, it had all of that in there, and it wasn't rushed. It even had little teeny tiny romance in there, and I'm glad I was small, because I'm just not into that romantasy, and this is not a romantasy at all, thank goodness. Thank you very much. Nothing against romantasy, I'm just not in that mood. So anyway, this was a good book. I can't tell you too much about, because I don't want to give away any spoilers. So you guys pick it up. This is a good one. Make sure you support your libraries. At the library, they got paper books, they got ebooks, they got Audible. So check out your library. Even though mine didn't come from the library, it might be there. Okay. You guys have a great day. Bye bye.